Hi, it's Tony with Spectrum Playground. When working with your child to learn any new skill, it's important that you monitor the progress. Monitoring the progress allows you to identify where your child is excelling and areas where you need a little more emphasis or a little more focus. Often, you will be able to monitor your child's progress just through observation. If you're teaching your child how to communicate, you're going to know when a new word is learned. Your child will use that word in your daily interactions, whether using a picture card system, whether writing it down, or speaking the word. You're going to know when your child is able to use that word correctly. So you've successfully monitored your child's ability to use that new word. However, if your child is learning a lot of new words, a lot of new ideas, a lot of new concepts, then tracking that progress, monitoring that progress becomes a little bit more difficult, right? There's just a lot more to keep track of. So that's what we face in Spectrum Playground. As you know, all of our lessons are divided up into subjects. And then within each subject, we teach a number of items or objects. So in the subject color, we teach 12 different colors. In the subject clothes, we teach 14 different clothes: dress, shirt, pants, socks, shoes, etc. So that's a lot to keep track of. Monitoring the progress and learning these not only individual words, but comprehension using these words becomes a bit of a challenge. So to help you out, we have a reporting function. So there's two things that we report. We report a percent correct, and we use a trend line to show how a child is performing for a given subject or a given level. So let's go look at some actual examples of some percentage scores and some line graphs to give you an idea of how you can quickly use this information to show you successes, areas where your child is doing well, as well as some trouble spots where a little more focus or emphasis is needed, both inside of Spectrum Playground and outside of Spectrum Playground. Okay, let's go take a look. Here we are on the start page again after having logged in. So we're going to dig into the reporting function in detail to see how it can help you monitor and track your child's progress. So on the start page, recall that it shows a list of lessons that your child has completed, with the most recently completed lesson at the top of the list. And on the far right is the score. Anytime you see a score, you can touch it or click it to see the details that make up that score. So here we can see that this child scored 100% for the word potato, 100% for the word chicken, and 33% for the word rice. So this seems to be the problem area. To see more details on reporting, on the left side, click or touch the reports icon, and that'll bring us to the report page. Now this page looks very much like the start page. The only difference is this will only list completed lessons that have a score. So I can filter this list by the team member who started the lesson or by student. So if I want to see lessons for a specific student, I just select that student, and in this case I see all of her lessons and scores. We talked about the graph earlier, so if we go up and touch or click the graph label, we'll get to the graph component. So now I have to select a student, and I start to fill in data. And you can see here that this is a lot of data and it's not very useful. So what I need to do now is select a subject and a level so that I can reduce the amount of data that is being displayed, and it becomes a little bit more useful for me. So here for close level 1, we see the yellow line, which is the score for each lesson that was played, and the blue line, which is the length of time that it took that lesson to be completed, and this is in seconds. So each individual circle here is one lesson play. So we can see that for close level 1, this student played 21 lessons. Back at the first lesson, we see that the score was just under 100. Then the next lesson we scored 100, a little bit lower, and this student hovered around 100 and did pretty well for closed level 1 lessons. Then towards the end, playing lessons 19, it looks like the score fell down to 50. If I want to see how this child did in level 2, I select that level and then the data populates. So the first thing that I can see is that more lessons were played. Over 60 lessons were played in closed level 2, and I can see that the scores were up and down. So there are some scores at 100 or around 100 and others that were down around 50. So this might be an area where I want to spend a little bit more time and emphasize some of these lessons. And then if I select level 3, I can see the scores for closed level 3. And here it looks like we've played 17 lessons. And again, the scores are hovering around 100%. They dip down a little bit. Looks like maybe 70% or so. And so now we have a good view of how this student scored at closed level 1, level 2, and level 3. So if there's one particular data point that we're interested in, we want to learn exactly what lesson that was and dig into those details, here's how we could find it. So let's say we go over here and we're looking for this data point. It looks like it's probably around 70. The closed level 3, around 70. So I go back to the activity and I select my student again, close, and level 3. And I can see that here it is. Here's a score of 75. So that was the one where we had an issue, because you can see all the others were hovering around 100. So here we can see that 75% was for the lesson, What Do You Wear to Sleep? So what I can do is, while playing Spectrum Playground, I can replay that lesson, of course, and I can emphasize what we wear to sleep in the flashcards as well. Now, outside of Spectrum Playground, I can also emphasize that we wear pajamas to sleep. So I don't have to just be in Spectrum Playground to emphasize the subjects, the items, the topics that we're trying to teach. So this is a good way that you can use the reporting to highlight for you those trouble spots. And then you can use Spectrum Playground or any interactions that you have with your child outside of Spectrum Playground to go over those trouble spots and help your child better understand those subjects, those items that we're teaching, and the comprehension for those subjects. Thanks for watching.